All right, so this is the way it comes packaged when you order it from AliExpress. It's just a little soft bag. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have inside. Another little bag, nothing else in here. It says made in China. Nothing to it. It definitely is all brass, so this is 100% brass. So instead of the sort of like Allen key screws that the J. Edwards Fractal press has, these are just like Phillips head screws. All these moving pieces are moving the way they should. Give you a good idea what you're dealing with in terms of the material. All the parts move freely. There's no sticking. Here's the back. You can even see some of the machining marks right there at the bottom of the feet. No sharp edges or anything. You can see machining marks on here. So this is all machined brass. This is what the finish looks like at the bottom of the feet. I suppose one of the early complaints was that this was marring frets, but I don't even see how that's possible. I can't imagine how this would destroy a fret, but then I don't know. We haven't used it yet. So let's go ahead and put this on the StewMac fret press. So this is the original piece on the StewMac fret press. And the whole point of the Fractal piece is that it allows us to not have to use all these different sized fret calls, right? So we can just use one. So let's go ahead and remove this. And there you have the two side by side, the original StewMac, and then obviously there's the AliExpress Fractal. I thought it'd be valuable to get this side profile just to see how much slop there is kind of going this way. So here's the kind of first section, and there's not too much slop. Then you have the second section here. You can see there's a little slop there. And again, I don't know what the tolerances are in the J. Edwards Fractal fret press, but they can see the slop there. And then on the final foot, figure this out. A little bit of slop there too. Looks way cooler than these old-fashioned things, right? So for this video, what we're going to be doing is using a StewMac pre-slotted fretboard. That way we can actually perform this review as fast as possible, and I don't have to build a fretboard. So this is from StewMac, and this is one of their slotted fretboards, 12-inch radius, Indian rosewood. Look at that. There's one defect here. It looks like some kind of borehole here by my thumb, and it comes out the other way here. So this is one of those things, like twice already I've bought wood from StewMac, and I see these kind of things like clearly someone saw this board and labeled it, so they see the borehole on there and they're like, hey, let's just sell it no matter what. All right, so it's pre-slotted. What we're gonna do is essentially put this on the CNC to cut out the proper dimensions, because right now it's just a blank stock. It's perfectly rectangular. So we want to make sure we have the right nut width here and then the right heel. And that's a quick job. We'll knock that out in just a couple of minutes. Fractal press from China lacks this little, I don't know, this little divot here on the actual shaft. So it's just completely solid, and that's okay. What I like to do with these guys is stick it in there, and then I was able to be able to turn it, right? So once I set my thumb screw, it's actually locked in that little lip, and I can rotate this. And it was so useful when you're pressing down to be able to kind of rotate and get the right fret. And the J. Edwards Fractal press actually does have that lip, and these Chinese ones don't. And that's okay. I assume if you had a little lathe, you could add that in if you wanted to. But I'm not going to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of allowing some of the shaft to remain exposed, I'm just going to stick it all the way in. There we are. looking good. So one of the things that I wanted to mention was this Chinese fractal press. As you can see on the first fret, it actually does cover about 99.9% of that first fret. So when you're pressing your fret down, it's going to be touching essentially the entire length of the fret. And that's not the case the further down you go. So here we are on the 5th fret, and you can see it's covering most, if not all of it. Now here at the 11th fret, you can easily see that the fractal fret press is not touching end to end of the fretboard, meaning it's not touching end to end of the fret you're pressing. This is the 16th fret, and you can see the edge of the fretboard over here, the edge of the fretboard over here, and all the space to the left and right of the Chinese fractal fret press. So it doesn't cover your entire fret. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Does the J. Edwards fractal fret press cover the entire fret? I don't know. I'm just showing you sort of the facts here. So with this traditional 12-inch brass fret press call, you can see it actually goes beyond the fretboard. It covers everything. So when you're pressing, it presses the entire thing down. Is the J. Edwards as wide as this? I don't know. But the Chinese fractal press clearly is quite tiny in that it doesn't cover the entire fret. So this means you're gonna have to press down, lift, move, press down, lift, move, press down. For this demonstration of the Chinese fractal press, I bought a off-the-shelf StewMac fretboard. It's pre-slotted, it's a blank, and I cut it. So we know that this is a standard fret slot depth, standard everything. I'm not doing anything special on my personal CNC. And for the frets, what I'm using is just this stuff I got off Amazon, which are pre-cut. I think these are medium jumbo Fender nickel fret wire. So this is what I'm using. All right, so for this particular demo of this Chinese fractal press, I'm only going to press 8 frets on this fretboard. I'm not going to do the whole board. Let's go ahead and start. So I have never used this tool before. This is the exact first time I'm doing it. You're seeing this in real time with me. I'm just going to put my fret in place. And what I usually do to keep it kind of like steady is I bang one corner in like that. So it's just like one corner in. All right, so let's go ahead and press this and see what happens. All right, I'm gonna try to get my hand out of the shot. Okay. Put my thumb right here just to balance it. Okay. And then we're just gonna press down. All right, and it should be seated. There it is. So that's the first one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a macro lens on so you can see what this looks like. And we'll use the macro lens on the next frets. All right, so here is a macro shot of the first fret that's been pressed in. Okay, so this demo or this review or whatever, I'm not going to express any opinions on this. I'm just going to talk about facts. Like, this is what it's doing, okay? You can make your own opinions on this because I know this is a super divisive subject. And I don't want to get in between the debate. I just want to show you what this thing can or cannot do. And here is the macro evidence. A lot of dudes on YouTube, a lot of luthiers, they don't have macro lenses for a reason, right? Because things look good from a foot away. I'm showing you with the macro lens what this press, one press, looks like. All right, this is just one press of this lever on the StewMac fret press with the Chinese fractal. What I'm going to do now is for the second one, this is going to be under macro lens. So we're going to press this in right there so you can see it under macro. So again, I'm going to get my second fret and I'm going to place it in here. And what I like to do, as I mentioned before, is like give it a little bang with just the fretting hammer on the corner. And that just ensures that it's not going to move anywhere because like these things, you know how they are, they slip and slide. One little bang, that's it. So you can see with the macro, the tang is sitting like on that slot right there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to bring this close. All right, so here's the second fret being pressed in by the Chinese fractal fret press. Okay. And there it is. That was really hard to do with macro, with light, with looking at the camera. That was really tough, but I got the shot, right? You got to see the shot. That was one single pull of the lever on the StewMac fret press. A couple of months ago, I mean, maybe about 8 months ago, Chris from Highline Guitars did a review of this thing, and it mangled his frets. I'm going to show you now the top of these frets under macro. Here's the first one I pressed. No dents, no dings, no mangling, no scratches. It's just the soft brass material on this nickel fret. All right, now let me see if I can get a better shot. All right, finally got a good shot. This is slightly overhead, slightly at an angle. A little bit of light here, but you get the idea. This is the fret wire that we pressed. This is fret 1. And there, again, isn't any scratches or dents. Second one, which is going to be this one. That's the second one. No dents, no dings, no scratches. It didn't mangle it. That's just the way it came from the factory right out of the bag. You know, normal fret. So let's go ahead and do the rest of the frets. I'm going to do 5 more. That way you can see them all. And I'll just try to do a time lapse maybe of this. All right, so I finished. I did the 8 frets that I intended to do. They pressed in really well. Obviously, when you start getting to the wider portion of the board, fret press doesn't cover the entire board, so I had to like scooch it left and right just to ensure that all the corners are getting in. But there it is. And again, I want to show you under macro. There's nothing wrong with these frets. I can see why everybody's moving to a fractal press. I understand. And here's my suggestion. Buy a fractal press. So if you could find some tiny little like 1 mil washers to put on each side of these, that might help with the slop. Other than that, that's kind of my only complaint. You can see the slop coin kind of going this way. That's my complaint. That's a fact, right? But the fact of the matter is it did not mangle the frets. Just look at that. And I'm gonna get you some macro shots of these. All right, so this is fret 3. This is the one that I started on, so that last montage. I'll just kind of go left and right so you can see what it looks like. No scratches, no dents, no dings. Okay, that's 3, so let's go to 4. Here's fret 4, no dings, no dents. Fret 5, no dings, no dents, no scratches, no mangling. On and on and on and on. So for me, the whole point was, if you were interested to know if this had value and you didn't want to spend your, $250 on the J. Edwards one from StewMac, and you just wanted to experience what it's like, then paying $13 is nothing to gain that experience and gain that knowledge. I think this is the way to go. Just like every other YouTuber has said, the Fractal Press is something else. It is really cool. I don't know, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's $20. $20 on AliExpress. Now, obviously the shipping to get to the States is around, 3 weeks maybe. $20. It's a no-brainer. I've never used the J. Edwards before, so I can't tell you if it's similar, but I doubt it's got this much slop in there. And you can see I can scooch it over and over. So a 1 mil washer here and a 1 mil washer here. I mean, look at how much space there is. That's a lot of space. Would kind of help with this side-to-side jiggly action, this action here, see? Don't worry about the surface finish. Who cares about that? Like, yeah, the surface finish is a little rough and you're probably going to get a better surface finish on the J. Edwards, but who cares about that, right? So this is the lower joint, and there is some slop here too. I kind of think you want that. Like, you want it to be able to like move around. This top portion here is really well done. Like, there's really no slop at all. It's just perfect, and it kind of like seesaws and teeters on there perfectly. And that's what you kind of want with the rest of them, which you're not really getting. These are a little bit too loose. So final thoughts on the Chinese AliExpress Fractal press. Would I use it on my future builds for fretting? I would, but here's why I won't. Because I am going to buy the J. Edwards Fractal press. Only because I'm spoiled and because I can. Right? There's going to be a lot of beginning luthiers out there who want to take advantage of a Fractal press who probably don't want to spend the money on the J. Edwards version. This is perfectly the right tool for them because it does the job. It's $20 and eventually you can upgrade. I'm going to upgrade immediately because I see the value in the Fractal press. Everything that you've heard about the Fractal press is true. It's a really cool tool, and we haven't even explored the real value when it comes to conical fretboards and fan fret guitars. This is perfect for that. So please, if you're a new luthier, just starting off with your shop and kitting it out, yeah, the AliExpress one is perfect, and you can upgrade later. There's nothing wrong with it. And all the tiny little things that are can be corrected with stuff you already have in your shop, probably. I was trying really hard not to express real opinions on this review and just show you facts and really take advantage of that macro lens so you can see with your own eyes and make your own judgments. See how easy it was for me with just one pull. You got to make your own judgments. If you don't want to buy it, cool. If you feel weird about Chinese counterfeits, cool, whatever, make your own decisions. I wanted to test it out. $20, you know, is nothing. $13 for me is nothing. Hope you got some value out of this video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.